Don't do it, Matt.
Ooh, bacon.
Hey, all you delicious dabs of bacon grease. It's Reverse BLT here, and I'm getting into episode 2 of Amazon's new Wheel of Time adaptation. I was not impressed with episode 1. You guys probably saw. But I am going to give them a chance because there is a good opportunity here. They just correct a few things. They can have something really great on their hands here. So everybody left with Moiraine. They're definitely being a little cheekier about the. Well, no, that's not true, because she did not know who was the Dragon Reborn by the time they left. But I don't think she had thought that it was more than just the three between Rand, Matt, and Perrin. I don't think she thought Egwene was one of them. I think Egwene just ended up tagging along because oh yeah, I remember why Egwene ended up tagging along. I'm not going to say, even though I kind of alluded to it in the first one. There's reasons for Moiraine to be interested in letting Egwene tag along, that's all I'll say.
Spoilers.
Another thing that occurred to me just now, I don't know why they chose not to begin the series the way that the books began, with the breaking of the world. That would have been a fantastic hook, just seeing that happen, see it unfold, and then to know that the Dragon Reborn is something that terrifies most people because of what the original dragon did, you know? I assume, based on how lackluster the effects for channeling have looked so far, that it came down to budget. But even that strikes me a little odd because, from what I understand, the show has roughly $10 million per episode, and I would think with today's effects technology, they could have achieved all of that without spending more than like $1 million or $2 million. And usually with something like that, you would get a special allocation specifically for those scenes. Maybe what they're doing is they're saving a lot of funding for a later episode later in the season, where they're going to sort of blow it all on a really big set piece or something, and maybe that's when we'll see the breaking. I mean, I'm assuming this season will adapt the entire Eye of the World, so maybe they're saving it for, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, there's a pretty big battle that happened towards the latter third of the book. But I don't know. It's been a while since I read it. I really do need to reread that book so that I can remember everything that's going to happen. Oh, is this the Children of the Light? Fucking assholes. I hate the Children of Light so much. Ooh, that's Scargo. Weird choices directing-wise, man. What is going on here?
And Aes Sedai should know above all others that sometimes brutality is the only path to mercy.
Okay, that's an odd choice. So in the book, the children definitely did not like the Aes Sedai, but they would not have dared to do this. It's actually somewhat like what I expected the opening to be like when I was kind of envisioning it in my head. Oh, is that the Merlin? I love that the opening shows channeling that looks like it should look. Oh, the Ajas. Now, do that in the show, guys.
You're not the boss of me.
How much time?
Not enough.
Then we need to move faster.
Obviously. It's a shame they couldn't figure out a way to make the lands ever-shifting float. Yeah, the Trollocs, they really don't look bad in a lot of the shots. It's just every now and then they look terrible, but most of the time they look pretty alright.
Walls won't stop Trollocs. The only thing they fear is deep water.
I wonder they smell like piss. Oh.
See, and that whole scene that we just had was unnecessary. Should have just started here.
Mistress, of course.
Alright, it looks like there was there's definitely some practical going on here. We didn't need any of that. All we needed was just that they wouldn't cross the river. Guys, you're wasting time on unimportant shit. It's starting to get me irritated. See, that's the important shot. It's just the breadth of what they're fleeing. And this was the first time we should have seen a merger off. Shouldn't have seen one in the first episode at all. Here we go with more of this shitty looking channeling. Well, at least that was a proportional outcome for the amount of effort. Unlike the previous episode.
They need their strength.
So do you.
Alright, well that's pretty much exactly out of the book.
It's alright.
See, we didn't need any goofy channeling effect.
Sit.
They listen to the wind.
You see, women all over the world have different names for it. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing for all of us. One thing. One power. And women like you and I, we're lucky enough to be able to touch it.
I'm no Aes Sedai.
But you could be. Touching the source will come to you whether you want it to or not.
Alright, this scene is great. I like this scene so far.
Look at the stone.
I wonder if in the first episode they just didn't trust themselves enough
it's clear and opaque.
Just have
like the water
these nice quiet scenes.
Imagine yourself floating in that river. There are no woods.
Channeling effect works well on a small scale.
There is only the stone and the sound of rushing water. Those first two, those were mine. That last, that was yours. And you don't listen to the wind, Egwene. It's the wind that listens to you.
That was a good scene. It was very well done. Do more of that, show.
Do you think we'll ever go back?
Home.
No, Back to the Future, Egwene. What are you thinking then?
No.
What is with the sound? It's like they were doing the sound of like that they've been using for channeling, but there was no channeling happening. This is effective though. No sound at all. I'm assuming we're in one of Rand's visions.
Did anyone speak to you?
There was a man. Eyes like embers. He didn't say anything.
If this happens again, you tell me straight away. Dreams have power. More than you know.
What does that mean?
Come.
Dreams have
Horses
power.
arrested.
No!
Those monsters killed Nynaeve and Layla and half the people we've ever loved. Moiraine has done nothing but protect us. Tried to keep us safe. Don't you see how pale she's getting? How weak? She's using the one power to keep our strength up at the cost of her own. And she does it. Even with you being the stubborn bastard you are. If I were her, I'd leave you behind too.
Alright, this episode is better than the first one. But it's like they're skipping some stuff though. It's like there's scenes that got cut. Because, yeah, we
Don't be an
know
arse.
that
We've
there's
got
this
each other.
conflict
That's
of
it.
tension between Rand
Right.
and Moiraine.
You're right about Moiraine.
But the show hasn't
She's not
actually
doing any of this for our
shown
benefit.
that.
She's
you
got a
know?
reason she's keeping us all alive, and as soon as that reason's gone, we're as good as dead. Till then, the lady does shoot fireballs, so let's try and stay on the good side.
White cloaks.
I mean, you're
Do not
dressed all
speak
in
unless
blue,
spoken to.
so...
And try to answer any questions truthfully as you can. Do not mention the White Tower or Aes Sedai. I am a lady from a fallen house. You're under my care.
Maybe don't dress all in blue, so kind of marks you as someone of the Blue Aja.
We are just hoping to find a safe place to settle for the night, before the light fades.
Best be on your way then. I'm sorry. If you would indulge here a moment longer, we have one of the questioners with us today.
Oh,
He will be
okay.
thorough,
That's what he's supposed to
but
be.
brief.
They still don't move
All those
openly
who seek
against Aes
passage through
Sedai.
our land must be properly questioned.
Sorry, sir. I have a wound. Pain, it... not healing well.
What happened to you?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you.
Gotta try to find
It
an
was
answer
monster,
that's
sir.
truthful.
8 feet tall with a mouth like a boar. A group of them overtook the village we were in.
This was in the borderlands.
No, sir, no, west of here, near the Mountains of Mist.
Can I see your wound, ma'am? Trollocs this far south.
The light is always with you. It needs no instruction. I will not forget your faces should we meet again.
Questioners are creepy as fuck. As much as I hate the Children
I
of
will
the
take a
Light,
contingent of
I
questioners
really hate
south.
questioners.
The woman said the Trollocs went west.
You are meant for battle. We questioners have a higher purpose.
We didn't need the extra shot. Ugh, weird. This is a far better episode so far, but it's still being hampered by these weird directing choices. We don't need this. Why are you guys padding?
Weep for the blood of Aemon, cry for Menatharin, long ago, long ago.
Trying to remember
It's good
whether
to
they even
remember
had songs
Menethrin.
like that.
It's just a song.
Okay,
No
yeah.
idea who Menatharin is anyway.
This is what I was trying
In
to
the old
get at.
tongue, Menethrin means mountain home. Used to be the name of the place you now call the Two Rivers. Weep, weep for Menethrin. Weep for what is lost forever. The old blood runs deep in you. Remember that. You'll need it in the days to come.
It's like we have a really good scene and
I'm
followed
not
by
going to be
like
Nynaeve's
pointless
apprentice
scenes.
because she's dead. And so is Layla. And here we are in the middle of nowhere being chased by the monsters that killed them, and you won't even look at me.
Some really
And I
bizarre
just
editing.
want you to look at me. And not hate me. I don't need anything more than that.
And they haven't established why he would be this upset over her decision yet. Functionally, from his point of view at the
I could
moment,
never hate you.
this isn't really any different than her choosing to be wisdom of the village. So we're already starting to hint at the stuff with the wolves. That's good. You need to tell Moiraine about that wound, though. I love the one wolf off to the side. He's like looking at the other ones, like, "Hey guys, what are we doing right now?" Tasty, tasty blood. Yeah, so far the biggest thing I would say, if I had to do a single word critique of the show, is uneven. Because it really is just like a really good scene
She going
followed
to be
immediately
alright?
by a pointless scene, then
She
followed by
needs
a really
sleep.
good scene again. Really weird.
You all do.
Surely this isn't the broken city. I mean, yeah, they're ruins, but they're supposed to look. You're supposed to be able to tell that the city was grand once, you know?
Moiraine, you have to wake up, Moiraine. Look, carry us. Can't move. We need to get her out of here. Right. Where? East to the fallen city of Shadalagos. Go.
Oh,
Now.
okay. So they're not in the fallen city yet. They could have saved money on their effects budget by not showing the Trollocs as much. We don't actually need to see them. You know what I mean? We know that they're what's chasing them. But we can focus more on the people trying to get away, rather than showing what they're trying to get away from. You gotta conserve your budget, guys.
What's happening?
I don't know, she just stopped.
Yeah, the boundary of the city.
Bella, come on.
What is that?
Alright, now that is cool. More stuff like
Wait,
this
look,
show.
the Trollocs. Why are they all just standing there? Come. Trollocs won't follow us inside. Ah.
Now your horses are just suddenly okay with it? They didn't want to go inside either a moment ago. Okay, this looks pretty much exactly how I expected. Man, show, when you do it right, you do it right. Just do it right more often. That's all you need to do.
There's no birds. There's no bugs.
Yep.
There's nothing.
They needed an editor with a heavier hand, you know what I mean? Like someone who would cut a little more. See what I mean? We did not need that shot of Rand walking all the way to the fucking door. For fuck's sakes, show, edit your shit. Speaking of editing, this is going to be hard to edit too, because I'm going to have to include stuff like that for you to even know what the hell I'm talking about. Well, that looks like CG that wasn't properly lit. Alright, this is okay. Contemplative moment.
You should have this. Layla made it. She always said she didn't make weapons, she made tools. And I'd probably use it 1,000 times for chopping apples or whittling wood before I ever needed it to defend myself. She seemed to think if you ever got into any trouble, it would probably be my fault. Although, to be perfectly honest, I can't see how anyone could reasonably blame me for any of this.
This is a good scene. More like this show.
Thank you.
Don't do it, Matt. So, I'm guessing this is how we're going to get the first of a specific thing.
Now!
You ready?
That doesn't look like a survivable drop to me, but okay. Yep, you guys both should be either dead or have broken legs. It's like whoever's editing this decided that we needed to see every step in every action that anyone took. You know what I mean? And we don't. Like, that is where this scene should have started. We didn't need the little pan down of them sitting there. You know what I mean?
If you don't take me to them right now, I'll slit your throat.
So for those of you who don't know, there's literally no way that Nynaeve could have snuck up on land unless he allowed it. But anyway, that was a better episode than the first one was. There's still a problem with editing that isn't tight enough. It's just leaving in a little too much padding. I'm hoping, though, that they will realize that's a problem going forward, because we really did have almost like a stripe pattern going on where we had really strong scene padding, really strong scene padding. Guys, just cut out all the padding and you're just going to have a whole bunch of strong scenes.
It's pure creative genius.
I'm glad that we got, the story beats we got here. We got to see the broken city. We got Matt and his dagger. We actually got to see the weird creeping darkness. I don't think they did a terrible job with that, actually. The only thing is that in several moments it didn't have the sense of urgency. They didn't always feel like they were being hounded so much as they were just sort of slowly being pursued. It did feel inevitable. It just didn't feel pressing, if that makes sense. They need to do more of showing us why Rand is having difficulty with Egwene and Moiraine seeming to get closer, and the idea of Egwene going to power. Those of us who read the book obviously know what that's about, but the show shouldn't take that for granted. It should be thinking about the people who have no idea what's going on. Because so far we have not shown that people don't like Aes Sedai, except for the White Cloaks, who are assholes. Those are the only groups of people we've really shown don't like Aes Sedai. We've had people talk about them with awe and respect, but not dislike and fear and all that kind of stuff, really. Except for the ferryman. He's the only one. And what did he say? Oh, the White Cloaks said the truth about you. You guys are, get everybody killed or whatever. That's not strong enough. There is a trend towards improvement here so far, so I'm definitely hopeful as we move forward to episode 3 that trend will continue. I'm curious to see how they handle Perrin's coming issues that we sort of had hinted at, and how they handle Matt's taint.
I'm sorry. His what?
And I'm really curious to see if they actually get to Tar-Valon in the next episode. I doubt it. But I want to see what Tar-Valon will look like. Aside from obviously looking like a giant vagina. because that is what it looks like in the books. The city is basically laid out like a giant vagina, which is hilarious. They've got to preserve that. That's literally part and parcel. This world, for better or worse, is heavily gendered. So they got to preserve all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let me know if you guys thought that if you agreed with me that the second episode was a noticeable improvement on the first one. Obviously, there's still a lot left to improve on. And there weren't really as many changes this time around. You know, now that they're into the sort of, I guess, meat of the road story, most of it is following the books. The only thing they really changed, and I think I understand it, but I don't know if I like exactly how it's coming off, was introducing the white cloaks into the story with the questioners and having them be as sort of obviously evil as they appear to be so far. You know, in the books, it's much more that they're just overzealous rather than just straight up bad guys, you know, if that makes sense. They're not like mustache twirling evildoers, but they come across like that in the show so far, especially the one questioner we saw that was eating a bird and killing that one Aes Sedai, who looked like she was of the brown Aja, so I actually think I know who that might have been. They're jumping ahead to some things. Thanks for joining me for this second episode of The Wheel of Time. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe, say hi, and you guys be safe and well, and I will see you for the next one. Bye.